Today, I'm going to be teaching my friend Tanner how to play the trumpet. He's never played a brass instrument in his life.
Yeah.
So this will be a good time. The first thing that you need to go over with brass is how to breathe properly. You want to make sure that you're taking a nice deep breath, but you want to take it from your core, not from your lungs. So you want to fill up your whole stomach and your whole back and take a deep breath, and you kind of want it to sound like Darth Vader. And when you take the breath, you don't want to tense up in your shoulders, so you don't want to go. You want to keep your shoulders down and extend here, not here. So can you try that for me? And make it nice and big and audible. Yes, and like. That's pretty good. If you could try to get a little bit less tense in your shoulders, make sure that you're just like, feel like you're just kind of, yeah, that's good. That's good right there. That's a very good breath. All right, next we're going to be talking about how to create a good mouthpiece buzz. The first thing you want to do is to hold it the proper way. You don't want to just grab it like this and shove it into your face because it'll apply too much pressure to your embouchure. So the first thing you want to do is pinch it like this with your 3 fingers perfectly in your right hand, and then you're going to want to make sure that your lips are a little bit wet, and then you're going to want to get firm corners and make a sound and then a pa sound.
Pa.
Yeah, and so then that's a pretty good mouth shape. And then with your firm corners in that mouth shape, make sure that you have a little hole in the middle, and then take one of those good supportive breaths, and then use steady air, and just like that, perfect. That's a really good buzz for your first time. So yeah, you just want to. Very good. So from there, we're going to talk about how to do drones, which is where you take your buzz and you either move it down or you move it up. We'll start with down because typically most people find that moving down is easier than up. So we'll start with that. And so just as an example, it might sound like. So that's what it would sound like going down. And the way you're going to achieve that is by slightly loosening your corners so that the lips vibrate a little more, and then take slower air and your pitch will go down, hopefully. So you can go ahead and try. Nice. I think maybe if you could try blowing more air, especially at the start, to establish a higher pitch, which will be easier to come down from. And you don't want to use less air, you just want to use a little bit slower air. So you still want good support even when you're going down. So try again. Very good. That was really good right there. That was very good. Now we're going to try going up. So just take the mouthpiece, put it on your mouth the same way, and instead of loosening your corners, you're going to want to use a lot more air and get a little bit tighter. Not too tight, you still need your lips to vibrate, but just a little bit. So something like this. Very good. Yeah, that was really good. And yeah, that's about it for buzzing. Next, we're going to go over how to assemble and hold a trumpet. The first thing we're going to go over is the parts of the trumpet. The first part here is the bell, and that's where the sound comes out of. And then the bell connects to the lead pipe, which goes all the way through the trumpet, which is where the air travels through. These are the valves, which are what you're going to push to play different notes or combinations of notes. And then here is our main tuning slide, and then we have several other tuning slides for each valve. Unfortunately, this trumpet doesn't have a third valve slide like ring, so you just kind of have to, it's kind of useless. And then here we have the finger ring, I think is what it's called. And yeah, so the job of your left hand is going to be to hold the weight of the instrument. So you want to take your pointer finger and kind of wrap it around the bell here and just place it there. And then these 3 fingers, your thumb is going to go around the back of the trumpet, and your 2 middle fingers are going to go and hold most of the weight. And then your pinky hangs out here. Like I said, most trumpets have a little spot to put your pinky here, but mine doesn't. And so that's what your left hand is going to do. Your right hand, you actually want to take your pinky and put it on top of this key, and then those 3 fingers go there, and this thumb just hangs out wherever it's comfortable. And that's a good trumpet hand position, if you would like to try. Pretty good, except don't put your finger in that. I know it feels weird, but you don't want to put it inside that ring because you'll apply too much pressure to your face. That's only there for certain things that we'll get into later. After that, you're going to want to take your mouthpiece, stick it in, not too hard, you don't want to jam it, but just put it in there pretty snug, and then give it 1/4 turn to the right. Just like, all right, now we have learned how to assemble, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into the holding part of it. So especially with the right hand, because it's going to be doing most of the playing. Now, this is pretty good, but there's one main issue here. First of all, I would bring your pinky up here, and the reason that is because with your pinky down there, it's forcing these fingers to be kind of flat, but you want your fingers to be nice and rounded. So try rounding your fingers a little more so you're playing with your fingertips. And now when you press down, not necessarily that much more with the pads of your fingers here, like that, that's good right there. And now try pushing down your valves, and you'll see that when you're pushing them down and your fingers are nice and curved directly down, it is less resistant and less likely to damage the valves than when you're pushing down on them kind of at an angle. So, and then with your left hand, once again, you just want to make sure if you were to have that ring there, you would want your pinky in that ring so you could slide your 3rd valve slide out for certain valve combinations. And you just want to make sure that you're holding most of the weight of the trumpet here and not with this ring. So you're doing a good job of that. All right, now we're going to learn our first note and then move on to our first couple of notes we're going to learn on the trumpet today. So we're going to start out with a concert B flat, and that's just open and blow maybe as if you were buzzing, like just that initial buzz, not a high buzz, not a low buzz, just a middle buzz, and give it some nice good air support, and hopefully you should get something like this. And then we have our drone for reference. So let's see if we can get that B flat. You want to hear the drum?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me pull it up. Boom. Try buzzing a little, like buzz down, buzz low. Loosen your corners, but use good air still. Now I would say use more air and maybe make your aperture a little smaller so that way the hole in the middle is a little smaller and buzz faster. Boom. That's so good. Now we are going to move on to our next note, which will be a D for trumpet. So this is a concert C, but we're gonna switch over to B flat terms. So this will be a D for trumpet, and the last note that we just learned was a C for trumpet. So now we're gonna play a D, which is just these two, and you're gonna use that same type of air that we used earlier, and you're just gonna blow a little bit faster and tighten your corners a little more. So hopefully we should get this. That's the note that we're looking for. Da. So you could either try to start on the D or go from the C to the D, whatever you're comfortable with. Now try lifting that. You're just a little flat. Try bringing that up a little bit. Da, 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 da. There we go. That was very, very good. Now we're going to move on to the third note, which will be an E, which is going to be just these first two fingers. So just the same thing you did going from the C to the D, do from the D to the E. Tighten a little, make sure the biggest thing is faster air. You need a lot of air to get these higher notes. So we'll go. So this will be quite a bit more difficult, but I think you've got it. You're playing really good. So make sure you get that good big breath, because we're going to be doing 3 notes now, so we want to get enough air for all 3. Ready? Okay, they were there. You didn't use enough air, I would say. You actually had your first pitch pretty well. Would you like to hear that concert B flat again?
Sure.
Here we go. So, yeah, that was so good. That was really good. I'm impressed by that. So now we're going to move on to an F. A concert E. B flat F. Now all you're going to do to go from the E to the F is lift that second finger, so it's just going to be first valve. So you're going to go, make sure you get a lot of air and tighten your corners and faster air as you go up. So and make sure you're using enough air.
Okay.
Big, 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 big breath before you play. That was so good. Wow. Okay, you are moving very quickly through this. This is awesome. So finally we're gonna learn an F, or a G, I mean, which will be a full fifth. So we started open, then we went 1 and 3, then we went 1 and 2, then we went 1, and now we just go back to open. So this is that note that comes out when you're trying to play the C, but it's that other note that you were trying to get rid of earlier. That's the note you want now. So you're going to use the same fingering as the C, but it's going to be a fifth higher. So you're just going to use faster air and firmer corners. And you've been killing it so far, so I'm feeling you're going to get it pretty quick here. That's all good. That happens. That's the note we're trying to get to at the end. So, wow, that is superb. Good job, Tanner.